this party off. All right, folks, thank you so much for coming on Super Bowl Sunday. This is a great crowd for such a day. If you can, get up, stand up, get that energy moving, and we are going to start off with a reprise of last week. We are all friends here. And if you would, help me clap through this. Double that speed.
Perfect. Good morning. Welcome to everybody here in person and all of you out there on the World Wide Web to Unity Spiritual Center Spokane, where we are all about our mission of transforming lives and inspiring people to make a positive difference in our world. Happy almost Valentine's Day and Super Bowl Sunday. All right. My name is Alan Bassan, and I will be your platform assistant this morning. If everyone can take just a second and silence your cell phones, it would be greatly appreciated. As always, we want to begin our time together by sharing our opening affirmation. Together we affirm, there is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the Good. This is Unity's foundation principle. One presence, one power, and one life, living through and as each and every one of us. This morning, our spiritual leader, Barnard, will talk about loving another person. Our music today is provided by Beth Rainey. Now, if you could welcome up our chaplain, Steve Borfield, with our reading and opening prayer.
Good morning. The reading this morning is from Jack Confield, titled The Path with Heart. The purity that we long for is not found in perfecting the world. True purity is found in the heart that can touch all things, enfold all things, and include all things in its compassion. The greatness of our love grows not by what we know, not by what we have become, not by what we have fixed in ourselves, but in our capacity to love and to be free in the midst of all life. And now a prayer by Reverend Bonnie. What an idea. I don't need to fix myself. I'm called to simply accept God's being as me. God the Good is the only thing that is. It is the fabric of all life, of my life. It is the very breath I breathe, thoughts I entertain, skin I wear. And it is the energy of the heart, the internal sanctuary to which I turn my attention right now. God is love, divine love, only love, fountainhead of love, source of love, love itself. I allow myself to accept this reality and breathe it in. God is good, God is love, and God is my love now. As I contemplate this, I allow my heart to respond in gladness. I don't have to do anything to get love. I am love itself. I am love that I seek. I allow this love to soften my heart, open my eyes, and guide me today. I trust its wisdom and power as the guiding force in my life. At this moment, I allow myself to know that I am loved without any need to prove it or make it happen. I accept it. I allow this awareness to color my vision today. I allow this awareness to guide my decisions today. I allow this awareness to fill me up so fully that it spills out of me and touches those I come in contact with without saying a word. God is God. God is love, and it lives within me, through me, and as me today. And so it is. Amen.
The moment I wake up Before I put on my makeup, I say a little prayer for you. While combing my hair now, wondering what dress to wear now, say a little prayer for you.
Forever and ever, you stay in my heart, and I will love you forever and ever. We never will part. Oh, how I love you. Together, together, that's how it must be. To live without you would only bring heartbreak for me.
I run for the bus, dear, while writing I think of us, dear. I say a little prayer for you, and at work I just take time. Well, through my coffee break time, I say a little prayer for you.
Forever and ever, you stay in my heart, and I will love you forever and ever. We never will part. Oh, how I love you. Together, together, that's how it must be. To live without you would only bring heartbreak for me. Forever and ever, you stay in my heart, and I will love you forever and ever. We never will part. Oh, how I love you. Together, together, that's how it must be. To live without you would only bring heartbreak for me.
Darling, believe me, for me there's no one but you. Please love me true. I'm in love with you. Answer my prayer now, babe. Say you love me true.
Answer my prayer.
That is my prayer now, babe.
Answer my prayer.
Say you love me true.
Wow, thank you so much. Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center Spokane, and I would like to invite you guys to play musical chairs if you'd like. There's a whole bunch of chairs down front today, and you can upgrade your seat. So if you'd like to, now is the time. Fill in, come on down. Oh, it's a rush, I can feel it. It's happening, it's happening. All right. I know, premium seats, come on. Oh yeah, there goes Karen. I love it. Both, all right, so, welcome to our talk today on Sacred Super Bowl Sunday. So I do want to say that I have probably given 10 talks about Super Bowl Sunday and the spiritual aspects of it. And I'm not going to give that today, but I do want to just give you a highlight in case I would have given it. And let you know that last year in the United States alone, 99.18 million people watched Super Bowl. Okay? That's compared to 16 million who attend a church, a synagogue, or a place of worship on Sundays. Wow. So my talk has tended to include stuff about ritual, because the Super Bowl is full of ritual and shared vision, right? There's two teams that have intense shared vision, and the aspect of coming together as community. So there's a lot of similarities to participating in watching a Super Bowl as there is an aware spiritual practice. But we're going to talk today instead about loving another person. Last week, the talk was really on how we love ourselves. Today, I'm talking about how to love another. Next week is loving our body temples. That's going to be good. Woo. And then we'll close the series with loving life itself. So I, as you guys know, was trained in science of mind. And many, many years ago, I went down to the Founders Church in Los Angeles, and I interviewed a woman who was 99 years old. Wow. Who went to service with Ernest Holmes, and I wanted to know as much as I could about him. So I brought, you know, back in the day, they're the old video cameras, but I brought a video camera down and spent time with this woman. And when our interview concluded, she turned to me and said, "May I ask you a question as a minister?" And I said, "Sure." And she said, "How can I get my friend to like me?" And her and her friend had had a falling out. And it was the awareness to me that no matter what our age is, we are still leaning into and learning the mystery of being in relationship and giving and receiving love. And so here's the number of words for love, and in Sanskrit there's 96 different words to talk about love, and different varieties of love, aspects of love, textures of love. In Persian there's 80, in Greek there's 3, and how many is there in English? 1, right? Well, maybe you could say love and friendship, but really there's just one word that spans the spectrum of everything from loving food to loving our body to loving another person, etc. And so what I'm wanting to do is to go deeper into the varieties or the differences that might exist with playing in these arenas of love this month. And so the dictionary definition is where we're going to start, and it just kind of falls flat to me. It's an intense feeling of great affection. How's that for love? An intense feeling of great affection. Yeah, it's kind of, And so I looked up affect, of course. An affect is the root of the word affection, and it is to touch the feelings of or to be moved emotionally. So in our dictionary, love then is the experience of being touched emotionally, having a profound emotional experience. But what we know and what we remember from Maya Angelou's clip on Unity, remember that one we watched last month? She says, "I think that love just might be the force that holds the stars in the sky. I just think that love might be the movement of the cells within our body temples. I just might think that love is what prompts us to forgive the unforgivable. I just think that love might be a mighty force." And those of us who have touched it, those of us who have felt it, those of us have allowed it to live through our bodies, know it is the force that it really is. So we're going to turn then to Scripture. We all know this one, the 1 Corinthians, that's so beautiful. And this is how it describes love. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but it rejoices with truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres, and love never fails. And what I did not see in here was that love holds grudges, love suffocates another person. I didn't see that love judges others, that love criticizes or gossips about somebody else. I didn't read that love is jealous or that it requires domination of another or subjugation of another. I didn't read that love nags or begs or all of the other stuff that we can fall into when we become unconscious. So I'd like you to repeat this verse after me, if you will. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres, and love never fails. God, didn't that feel good? Ah. For just a second, just turn to the person next to you and say, I'm glad you're here. All right. So let's look for a moment at the evolution of love. Oh, I want to go back to this slide first. In the Bible, it also says to love your neighbor as yourself. And my minister colleagues and I used to have a joke that that's the problem. We do love our neighbors as ourselves. Right? So go to last week and look at self-love. All right. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the evolution of love and what that can look like. I want to talk about the idea of dependent, independent, and interdependent. And all of these come out of Stephen Covey's work of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Can you raise your hand if you never read that book? What? Okay, you have an assignment. It came out in 1989, and it was one of the first books that completely transformed me. And I must have read it hundreds of times, and I'm not kidding. It is so powerful. It takes you into self-reliance and self-leadership, and then interdependence and win-win situations with others. So Stephen Covey actually is the one who brought into our nomenclature the idea of win-win, of not entering into relationships in a win-lose situation, but a win-win situation. So do yourself a favor, read that book. I used to teach it inside of businesses, so that work is absolutely life-changing and very, very relevant today. So let's look at the idea of being in a dependent relationship. And this means that we rely on someone or something else for our well-being. And the reality is that the majority of humanity lives here. The reality is it's somewhere in the neighborhood, depending on the figures you read, of 98% or so of our country that lives in a dependent state, not independent or interdependent. So it's very progressive when we are able to move beyond this state. And so there's a lot of us in the room that are in a dependent relationship. There's many who are independent and interdependent. So we're going to look at all of them and know that there's no judgment ever with where we're at. That's the first part of self-love that we give to ourselves, is that we just honor wherever we are, and we're really good with it, because once we are honest with ourselves, then we get the privilege and the opportunity to grow ourselves into different beings. So in a healthy family system, dependency looks like you start individuating or becoming some form of emotional independence around your adolescence. And that's when you may experience a little bit of talking back from your child or grandchild. And you notice that they're starting to think for themselves and think differently and own their own being. And it's really a shift when a child goes from counting on their family unit for guidance to, I now have my own voice. And there's a role that a parent plays that shifts from being an adult parent with the child and just softens a little so that there's some self-exploration that's allowed to take place within that relatedness. So the role shifts a little bit from a monitoring over to kind of a holding under and around energy. So it shifts just a little bit there. And so if we find ourselves in a dependent state, then this is what we give to ourselves. We give to ourselves the freedom to expand a little bit, to try things out, to allow the energy of the divine to not only be shown to us within us, but to surround us and hold us in that lovely safe space. And changes will happen like your child or grandchild or yourself would start babysitting, get a paper route, start doing things independently where there is an ownership of their own finances, their own emotional self, their own decision making. And so this to me was cute in that when I had the conversation with the 99-year-old woman, she was basically saying to me, I'm coming from the state of dependency right now, and I really want your help to grow me out of it. So today we're going to look a little bit about how we go through each one of these stages. These are my ideas. This is my experience. This is what I know to be true. This is what I've done to work with other people, but there are way more ways than this. It's just to get us thinking, okay? So there's a lot more options and ideas. Moving from dependent to independent, I love the Buddhist contemplation of who am I? And this is sitting in meditation for at least 15 minutes and just asking yourself repeatedly, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And what happens is we start looking at an identity we created. You know, oh, I am this identity. But the more we ask the question, the more we go beneath identity. The more we go to that place within us that is eternal, that is where the divine presence of God is, and we get to a place where we go, wow, I'm an energy field, or an energy field of possibility or potentiality. I am not this body that I'm wearing. I am not exclusively female. I am not only human. We enter a place within us that is eternal, and that is very life-changing. The other suggestion I have is that we become our own best friend. How many, oh, I'm not going to ask you that. I'm going to not ask you to raise your hand, but how many of you have trouble with with being alone or with not enjoying your own company? Don't raise your hand. But the idea of becoming your own best friend is to give yourself what you would want from somebody else. And it's to incorporate into your life the things that you enjoy. And so often we have voices in our head, yes we do, that says things like, I can't give that to myself, or I haven't worked hard enough to earn it, or whatever our voices are. And a best friend would say, oh yeah, come on, let's go take a walk. So we listen to our own internal best friend and start giving ourselves what we would want someone else to give to us. Taking a value inventory is very helpful. All of us live our value systems out loud. You can see and know what somebody values based upon looking at their checkbook, looking at their calendar to see how they spend their time. And the values inventory is a way of being able to recognize what you value and then align your day to your value system. Align your activities to your value system. There is a teacher named Dr. John DeMartini who I absolutely love, John DeMartini, and he has on his website a free values inventory. So if you haven't taken one and you would like to know more about what you value, he has a wonderful inventory there. And then the next opportunity in going from dependent to independent is to end victimhood. To take full and complete responsibility and accountability for your own life. And we're having the best time in the Consciousness Cleanse class because we are reminding ourselves of this one part of dependency, that we really have the freedom to stop complaining, blaming, making other people wrong, making ourselves wrong. And when we come from that clear, plain, peaceful state, people want to be around us. And so when we're looking at relatedness, it's so much more fun to connect with someone over a desire than over a complaint. So I put that out there. Safeguard your inner circle. You are worth having amazing human beings in your life. And if you have a lot of individuals that in their presence you lose energy, I invite you to rethink that, because each one of us in this room deserves to have a circle of friends that in their presence we expand all of our energy instead of draining energy. I did put up here, tracking your energy, where do you leak? This is really important. I remember being in my 20s, and I remember having what I would say my energy depleting, and so I started keeping a journal. And I started by keeping a journal on when my energy depleted, and guess what? It depleted more, because I was tracking it. So I changed and I started keeping a journal on what I loved. And when I started tracking what I loved and where I had more energy, guess what happened? I had more energy, and I started giving myself what I loved and participating in love itself. And then I often say, work with someone else. What happens typically when we're in a dependent state is that we're learning how to trust. We're learning how to trust ourselves, and we're learning how to trust the world. Think of an adolescent kid. You're learning how to be safe within yourself and around others. So research has now shown that having a good relationship with a therapist or with a spiritual advisor, having a relationship that is trustworthy will help pop you from being dependent into independent. So I always like to say that. All right, interdependence. This is when two or more people depend upon each other. So they're full and whole. Oh, did I miss a slide here on going from independent to interdependent? No? There we go. Okay. So once you've hit dependency or independence and you have full ability to take care of yourself, spiritually, emotionally, physically, then you take the steps to go to interdependence. And this is fun because this is where I say that we really get to love. This is where we connect with our own self with love, and we really get the opportunity to show up in the presence of others without wanting anything from them. When we're dependent, we want stuff from people. We want their approval. We want their attention. We want their accolades. We want their recognition. We want from other people when we don't have it ourselves, when we haven't reached that place of independence. And so once we have reached independence, then we get to play with others from a place of you're full and I'm full, and now what do we do? So how many of you have heard Edwina Gaines speak? Yeah, she says, once you give up complaining, what are you going to do? Right? Like, how do you fill your time? And I'll tell you how you fill your time is that you get to be around other independent people and co-create together, and it is absolute magic. So this is how we go from independent to interdependent, is that we meet people's passions. How cool is that? We observe what people love, and we meet them in the place where they love. Can I hear an ooh? That is really good. And then where does our conversation take place? It takes place from the soul. It's so amazing to have a conversation with someone that isn't about their to-do list, that isn't about what's lacking, that isn't about their complaint, but is about why they came here on the planet. That's about their soul. That's about who they are. And it's so much fun because when you're at the level of independence, you don't want anything from anyone else. And so you can see them and they can see you. And that is a party worth attending. We get to co-create together and then stand with each other in the place of support. And so this is where I would say last night was spectacular. How many were here for Heather Villa concert? Right? Are you kidding me? Gay Ribble should get what my granddaughter gets, the Student of the Month award. She needs to get some kind of Person of the Month award or something for putting that whole thing together. That was incredible. And a whole bunch of you did this. Who was on the team and participated in making last night happen? Please stand up. Please stand up. It was amazing. Amazing. And you guys, this is what we do when we are independent and full, is that we honor in somebody else their gifts and their talents. And we got to participate by supporting Heather Villa's life path of being a musician, and we got to have ourselves reflected back to us in the beauty of the music. So what happened last night was just one expanded moment after the next. And we had set the intention that Unity return to being the place of the best music in town. And last night, when I was walking around during intermission, I heard people say, I think Unity could have the best music in town. And I was like, oh, it's happening, it's happening. So I just honor all of you who showed up and helped fulfill Heather Villa's independence and interdependence, and that allowed us who just love music and fun and joy to come together and dance. It was wonderful. So thank you all so very much. So what happens when we are interdependent is that two or more people come together in order to depend upon each other, and synergy is created. And so I just see in our community more and more and more of the honoring of who we really are from our soul level, and the calling that forward and playing from that place energetically. Yes? Okay, my last slide is, this is a slide of Maslow's hierarchy, and it is put up against the dependent, independent, and interdependent model of Stephen Covey's. Now, they do have what I would call a pre-dependent stage, and they're calling impulsive. So this is when you don't even trust enough to have a dependency. So there is a phase in here that is even below the developmental stage of dependence. But this is where, when I was in meditation preparing for my talk today, that I really saw the brilliance of what the previous ministers were suggesting and putting together. That we would be an organization that welcomes all stages, not just all backgrounds of spirituality, but all stages of growth and development. And this is where the Q process came in, or where the dealing with your shadow part comes in, is that every one of us needs to have a tool, or 2 tools, or 3 tools, or 8 tools, where when we become aware that we are acting out of our unconscious self, we can go to something, to some place, and to do a body of work and come back and go, oh, and own our own stuff. So we're not walking around projecting on everyone else our unhealed self, but instead we're able to do our own internal work and then show up. And if we need to apologize, we do. If we need to forgive, we do. Whatever it is we need to do as a community, we do it. And so I started to see the brilliance and the beauty of this. And this week, Ryan, I think he's over here, Ryan and I are getting together and we're going to start building the pathway of growth that will look like given the different stages of development, what can we offer as a spiritual center to ourselves and to all of Spokane, and then online to those of you at home, where we can provide the underpinnings on how to grow spiritually through coursework. And then I'll be meeting with the education committee this week as well, so we could start developing and putting in place pieces so that wherever you are on this journey, we really have something there for you to bring you to the next space and place, with the idea that all of us have it inside of us ourselves all along. And so once we activate that, then we show up and we do things like last night, right? So there's a place for all of us to be and all of us to play in this beautiful community of ours. So I go back to this just 99-year-old woman I see, and I wish I could remember her name, but I see her in my mind's eye. And I just have a tender heart thinking that she was at the tail end of her life and still asking, how do I give love and how do I receive love? It is my hope that the talk today just gave you just a little bit of an inkling, maybe, as to different ways that we can grow ourselves and co-create with each other. So we're going to enter into meditation. And today's meditation is coming from Jack Kornfield's book, A Path with Heart. So let's go ahead and get centered. Feet on the ground, eyes closed. Ah, the mystery of love. It really is a mystery. So my talk was linear, but love isn't linear. That's the thing. It's moments. It's memories. It's, I'd say love is wavy, not linear. Maybe circular and wavy and mushy and messy and all kinds of movement, but not linear. So we're going to enter into that place within our being that is nonlinear. It is the space and the place within our consciousness where the presence of God resides. I invite you to place your hand on your heart. And this is from Jack Kornfield's book, A Traditional Skilled and at times humorous reflection can be used to change the relationship we have with inside of ourselves to difficulties. The image of this meditation can be easily developed and brought forth in our daily life. Picture or imagine that this earth is filled with Buddhas. That every being you encounter is enlightened, except one, you. Imagine that they are all here to teach you. Whoever you encounter is acting as they do solely for your benefit, to provide just the teaching and difficulty that you need in order to wake up, to awaken. So I just want you to scan this last week and notice if there's any energy bubbles that pop up as unresolved or of disturbing in any way. Whether it's someone who tailgated you or honked their horn at you when you turned a corner or had bad behavior in a grocery store, whether it's a neighbor, a parent, a love letter someone sent you. Just imagine that all of this came directly from Buddhas to wake you up. Heather Villa's concert was here to wake me up to all of the amazing volunteers that are here at the center, to remind me of the wealth that we have within us and around us all the time. Wealth of joy, wealth of sharing, wealth of connection. Just take a moment and feel into this last week. How did the Buddhas around you teach you? Inwardly, thank all of the people who taught you this past week. And now I just give thanks that the presence of God is everywhere. There is nowhere that it is not. This presence of God resides within each one of us sitting here and each one of us online. Another name for God, Emma Curtis Hopkins says, is good, God the good. This month we look at God as love, the love that resides within each one of us here. I invite you to make a commitment inside yourself right now that for the rest of this month you play with love. You bring it into your meditations, into your conversations, into the way you show up and behave. Just allow love to take the front seat this month. I want to tell you, love is safe enough to do that. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you can show up as divine love. You don't even need to say a word. Just turn it on. Turn that light on inside. And so I give thanks for each of us here. I give thanks for each of us as the one that is here. I give thanks that the presence of God doesn't stop loving, doesn't stop giving, doesn't stop forecasting itself. And for this I'm grateful. And so it is. Amen.
Well, I can't stop the rain, but I will keep you dry. When the shore feels far away, I'll be by your side. When the storm rise, I will shelter you. cannot move what's happened, but I will understand. And although it may hurt, I'll tell you the truth. When your sky is gray, I will give you blue. Well, I can't stop the rain, but I will wipe your tears. Though I wish I could take what hurts you and make it disappear. I can ask for miracles. I know what I can do. When your sky is gray, I will give you blue. When your sky is gray, I will give you blue.
Thank you so much, Beth. This is Beth's first time playing with us here. Thank you, Beth. She has a wonderful one-year-old son here named Miles, so afterward you could meet him. And she jumped right in. Scott's wife has COVID, and so we needed a pianist to play the whole service. And bless her heart, she just jumped right in and supported us through the whole service. Thank you so much. Now it's our time to give. All right, and for those of you online, there's many different ways you can give. There's a slide that shows you what to do, and you can go to our website, unityspokane.org, and there's a donate button there, and then of course you can mail to our address that is also online. And for those of us here, I invite you to take a moment and just go inside and ask that higher wisdom of divine love, what is yours to give today? What is so awesome is once we are independent, that intuitive voice within us starts just telling us what to do. So how great that there's a voice within us that is the divine presence of God that just is guiding us moment by moment and day by day. So we just ask, what is ours to give today? And with that, we do it. Fill out a check, cash, whatever's yours to do. And for those of you who give regularly to support this ministry, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. I love that. All right. Let's go ahead and say our prayer together today. I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give and receive. I give thanks for the abundance that is mine to share. And I'm going to ask Karen Dunmore to please come up here, if you would, Karen. And before we bless our money, we're going to bless Karen because today's her last day with us before moving to Portugal. And so let's all rub our hands together and have the energy from our hearts go through our hands, and let's bless Karen on her journey. Karen has been a licensed Unity teacher here. She, I know she'll continue watching online and participating, but she's physically with us here today. She gifted us the new windows that are in the atrium area, and she's done so much for this center in her consciousness and in her heart. And so I want to bless her together as she makes her journey. So let's direct your hands toward her and let her feel this immense gratitude and love that we have. And repeat after me. Karen, may your journey be filled with incredible love.
May your journey be filled with incredible love.
May you feel the gift that you've been to us.
May you feel the gift that you've been to us.
May you travel safely.
May you travel safely.
And may the goodness of God be known to you and through you.
May the goodness of God be known to you and through you.
We love you.
We love you.
I love you guys.
Amen. All right. And now our resources. Thank you, Karen, for who you are and making your way here. And I give thanks for this financial well-being of our center. I give thanks that we live from the overflow of God's good that is always multiplying. I give thanks for this money here in form. I give thanks for the money that it's making its way from bank accounts to the center and from those online who are member individuals who love us and give from that space of love. For all of this incoming wealth, I do give thanks. I know it is used for the goodness and glory of God, just as it was given. And for this I give thanks, and so it is. Amen.
Well, thank you once again, Reverend Bonnie. Thank you, Beth. And a very special thank you to your background singers, the Pips.
He always wanted to be a Pip.
Well, he made it. Unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for God, the many paths to God, for we know that there is only one presence and one life. So whoever you are and wherever you are on your journey of spiritual transformation, you are welcome here. If there's anyone here for the first time and you feel comfortable enough in raising your hand, we'd love to catch a glimpse of who you are and say hello. Okay, we got, all right. Welcome, thank you. After the service, find your way to the barista stand because you get a free drink because you volunteered to say, yeah, I'm here. For those of you here in person, as well as those watching out there in the World Wide Web that are new to our ministry, we encourage you to sign up for our e-newsletter to learn more about our upcoming transformational speakers, workshops, and events. You can scan the code up here on the screen, the QR code, or go to our website at unityspokane.org. We would also like to connect with you on our YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all that social media stuff. Just search for Unity Spiritual Center Spokane. We want to thank everybody out there and in here for joining us today. Our chaplains today are Gary and Marlene, who have been holding the service in prayer for us. Gary, thank you guys. one or both, will be right down front here after the service, immediately following. So if you have something that is heavy in your heart or something that you want to help celebrate, just see them after the service. We want to thank you guys again for being here. We would like to encourage anyone who is in need of prayer support to please fill out a prayer request form found in the seat pocket in front of you or out there on the table as you entered the sanctuary. And then you can put them in one of our prayer boxes up front, and there's one out there. Names are added to our prayer list and are prayed over for 30 days here and are by both here at our prayer ministry and Silent Unity as well. And now, what you've been waiting for is our news you can use with Jeff Tawney.
Hello, Americans. Stand by for news. Those of you under 40 probably won't remember that. Listen to it every day. All right, so in addition to what you see on the back of your flyer, upcoming events, I want to just kind of cover a few things here. First of all, how many people participated in affirmative prayer class? Okay, well, we're having a refresher. Bonnie's going to be doing a refresher on March 1st, Wednesday, March 1st in the chapel. So if you've been trained in the 5-step affirmative prayer process and took the class with Reverend Bonnie, we're going to be doing a refresher on that. We'll meditate together, review the 5 steps, practice writing a few prayers. I need a lot of practice. And answering questions about the technology of affirmative prayer. The cost is $30. You can sign up. You're going to be getting an email that'll have a link in it that'll allow you to sign up that way. So you don't need to do anything outside of just be cognizant or be waiting for the email. Also, we have another visioning session today after the services at 11:30. You don't need to have attended the previous ones. And I'll tell you, I've done 2 so far, and both of them were different. Got different things in each one. So it's kind of neat. It wasn't like a repetitive thing. And I will say, Bonnie, I'm actually thinking, I'm carrying this language and this thought forward into other aspects of my life. So thank you. Next Sunday, the annual meeting is February 26th. It's not next Sunday, it's the following Sunday. And it'll be following from 11:45 to 1 p.m. The YOU will be serving lunch, and that'll be done by Love Offering. And that is for those of you, that's the annual meeting, that's the election of new board members, and there's a lot going on in that. And so be sure to plan to be attending. And then we have a supporting member orientation coming up on Zoom and on Wednesday evening, February 22nd from 6:30 to 8:30. If you are new to Unity or interested in officially becoming a supporting member, we'd love to see you there. You can sign up through e-news or talk to Deanna. Deanna, where are you? Stand, just so people know who Deanna is. And you can get signed up. And last but not least, we always save the best for last, right? Conscious Conversations is this coming Thursday. We kind of got off a little bit on our cycle, but it is this coming Thursday, and we've been meeting in the library, and at least until choir gets going, and then it's actually not too bad with choir singing, so we've been staying with the library. And if you've never attended Conscious Conversations, we pick a topic, we have a nice dialogue about it, and I'll tell you one of the things that I'm learning. I'm learning that I don't always have to respond to somebody's statement, and that's a good practice, right? I'm looking forward to getting a lot of practice of that before Thanksgiving, when we feel like we have to respond, right? So we're retraining our brain and retraining our habit of what we think we need to say, or if we have to pile onto something. So it's just a really good, safe environment to tackle maybe some sensitive topics or subjects, and be able to be heard or feel like you've been heard. And if you've got any questions about that, come see me after, and I'll tell you all about it. Okay, that's all I got. Back to you, Al.
Well, hopefully the kids are out there. It's that time. I guess we're earlier than we usually are. We're usually a lot later than this.
Yeah.
All right. Is that it? All right, guys, we are always, as always, blessed to have such an amazing youth ministry here at Unity Spiritual Center. So let's take a moment now to bless all of these young people and all of those in service to our youth ministry. Thank you, sir. Our children's blessing is, be the love you are, sing the song you hear, share your joy of life with people far and near. And for all of us, be the love we are, sing the song we hear, share our joy of life with people far and near. All right, guys, you can go back and find whoever you came with. I got two of them. Okay. All right, now if you would please stand as you are able and join together for our closing prayer. Put it up there. There it is. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And that's the truth.
Peace on earth,
Sign it up.